y'all, what is up? My name is Nay. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nay, like I just said. As you can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about top things to know as a beginning gardener. Yeah, I have notes here, so if you see me looking down, that's why. This is my second year gardening, and I want to give advice to brand new gardeners. I know I'm still like not even a toddler, like an infant, like an infant gardener. But this is something that I would like to share with you all because I feel like it would be helpful. So if you find this helpful throughout the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up and let's get started. So the first thing is find out your first and last frost date. So your last spring frost date and your first fall frost date. And that is important because you need to know when to plant out all your transplants. Whether you're starting it from seed or whether you are getting them from a nursery, the big box stores, anything. It's really important to know those frost dates because you can figure out when, if you're starting seeds, when to start your seeds, but then also to when to direct sow, when to transplant, and when to really figure out when you're going to plant out your garden. And the same thing for the fall, especially if you're doing a fall garden. I would suggest that you really get to know that date and you plan accordingly because one, you need to know, again, you need to know if you're going to start your seeds, when to start your seeds, when you need to transplant, when you need to direct sow, so that way you have everything before the first killing frost comes for your plants. So that would be the first thing I would advise, especially you want to have those windows. Now, is that the exact date that you're going to go ahead and transplant everything? Maybe not. You have to really pay attention to the weather and you have to give yourself about a 2-week grace period. So let's say if your frost date is April 21st, right? You may not be able to plant your transplants in direct sow April 21st because it might be too cold, and you really have to see what the weather is looking like consistently over a week or two period before your frost date. So I would just say play around with that, but that would be my first piece of advice. My second is determine warm weather crops and your warm weather crops and determine your cool weather crops. And that's so you know what to grow when. So for example, like broccoli. Broccoli is a cool season crop. So you can plant broccoli early in the spring before it gets too hot, and then you can plant it in the fall. And broccoli is good up, I think, until 20 or 25 degrees. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around there. So it can take cool weather and can take a frost. What it cannot do is it cannot take heat. So if it's above, I think 70, again, don't fact check me. I'm thinking from what I remember. But I believe if it's above 70, it's going to bolt, which means that it's going to go to seed. So that's really important to know when to do what, because even like lettuce, we love lettuce, especially like for summer salads and all that. But guess what? Lettuce is really a cool season crop. Lettuce isn't a warm season crop, because if you plant lettuce in the summer, unless it's under a very shaded area under your summer garden, and even under your summer garden, it can still bolt and go to seed. So that's really important when you're planning out your garden and deciding which plants are going to take which space and how much dedication to those plants that you're going to do. Alright, so next I have this, and I think this is where people get confused. So we talked about the first and last frost date, but people always say you need to know your zone. You do need to know your zone, but you need to know your zone when it comes to your perennial plants. So zones are basically the things that you determine what you can grow for your perennials. And what is a perennial? A perennial is something that comes back year after year. Unlike an annual is something that you plant every single year, or a biannual, which is something that you plant every other year until it goes to seed. So, for example, in my zone, I'm in zone 7B. A perennial would be thyme. Also sage. Sage are my perennials in my zone. But something like basil, tomatoes, peppers, and all that, those are annuals in my area. So I won't have to worry about planting thyme and sage once I plant it, unless something like kills it off or something like that. But if nothing kills it off, it's going to come back year after year. The peppers, basil, and tomatoes, those are annuals. I have to plant those every single year because the last killing frost is going to destroy those plants. So that is where zones come in. It's not to know what to grow, but it's to know what perennials do well for you. And if there's something that you want to add in the comment section, please let me know so we can have a discussion. I believe I'm saying that right, but if you all have more insight, then please let me know. I'm really, really open to hearing something. The next one is research the type of soil you want to use. So if you're going to be planting a large garden, I would say to invest in bulk soil because that's going to be cheaper. Because I know when I did the garden last year that my sister and I, we invested money in bag soil, but it probably would have been cheaper to go with bulk soil. We didn't have that many garden beds this year. I'm having a way bigger garden, so I'm definitely going to be doing bulk soil. But if you're not doing that big of a garden, then you can go ahead and do whatever soil you want. I would say research because you can either do regular just raised bed soil, if you want to do compost and topsoil, if you want to do topsoil, compost, sand, just research any of those things that you want to do because everybody is different. Everybody's area is different. So whatever you want to do or whatever what you are thinking about doing, I would just say do some research and just go ahead and figure that out because your soil is the most important thing. Because without healthy soil, you won't get healthy plants. And the last one I will say is it takes work, but the effort is so worth it. So gardening is not easy. Gardening takes work. But the reward and the feeling that you get afterwards is so incredible. Like, gardening has done so much for me. And besides growing food, like, it's gotten me back outside because I don't like bugs. I'm not going to hold you. I don't like bugs. I don't like stuff buzzing, whatever. But I go out there because I enjoy it. And I also enjoy growing food. So I would just say, like, put in the effort that it takes in the beginning. And your garden will give back to you. Like, that's the most beautiful thing. So put in the work. Put in the effort. And there'll be other videos where I get into things that I feel like you should have, but I would just say just put in the effort. And one bonus thing that I thought of was research the varieties that do best in your area. So for example, like I want to grow potatoes this year. Not all potatoes do well in my area. So I'm in Maryland. So if I want to grow potatoes, sweet potatoes, or any of herbs or whatever, I need to see what works best in my area. So what I do is I just Google and research what does best, and then I know what to plant. Because some things may do great in your area, some things may not. So you just need to know so that way you're not putting effort into something that won't grow for you. So yeah. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoy. My camera's about to die, so I have to talk a little bit quickly. But thank you all so much. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please let's have a discussion in the comments section. And please let me know if there's anything else that you would like to know as a beginning gardener. I have a few videos coming out for beginning gardeners. So I would love to hear what you want to hear about me talk about. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, so thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.